Welcome to my voiceover world.
How you doing, brother?
Why, hello there. How you doing?
I'm doing good. A little tired, got my workout in, did some recording. Just another regular day, man. Just another regular day.
Yeah, you're not the only one who get busy these days. Thanks for willing to do this, Josh.
Of course, of course. How you been though, brother? How you been?
Been doing well, just getting busy with trying to get my schedules just sorted out and everything because to just make sure making my life a lot more easier.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one thing that all of us could use right now is just things a little bit more easier, a little bit more cheaper, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
that's
your very
it's hard.
see your point there. But
Yeah.
you know, I've been getting to know a lot about you because of, my dear friend Nokotan. I'm trying to get his name right, but still.
No, 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 you're good. Nokotan is it's a funny anime. I know
Yeah.
my cast and I are wanting, to get a season two, and it's funny, the mangaka is, they're still writing it. So, you know,
Yeah.
they got an anime really fast. So like how they how series, they have like, 6 issues out and it's new. And it was very early on. And so when Nokotan just like hit the scene, um, they got an anime. And so, there's not going to be probably another season until there's like another good amount of manga issues out, volumes out. So, we're really looking forward to seeing when that's going to be announced. It's very popular. I know it's kind of dying down in the US, and that's understandable. But in Japan it's very popular still. So, we're
I,
hoping.
s- I see your very point there, and I
Hmm.
totally get it. But about me saying this to you, I know it about you because of that, and also that I'm beginning to notice that you've been liking a lot of my stuff for the past few months.
Hmm.
It made me realize that, boy, if I am to interview that guy, what will it be like talking to him? That's where you just ended up asking me, and well,
Yeah.
I took your request lightly and made it happen.
Yeah.
But
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
of course, like many others did, honestly, I never knew about anime back then. But then when I know, but because of that show in 2016 called One Punch Man,
Yeah.
it opened my eyes to anime,
Yeah.
helped me
Yeah.
realize it, and it led me to discover my passion to get myself into voice acting for anime
Hmm.
and games.
Yeah.
That's what led to my success right here.
Hmm.
Because to tell you the truth, I am seeking auditions so that I can be able to get myself out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it can be a grind for sure. But for the auditions, it's just for me personally, it started on Casting Call Club, which you've probably heard many times.
I've used that actually
Hmm. That's
to,
where a lot of people started. Sorry. Sorry, Sebastian.
it's okay. It happens. But
Yeah.
now without further ado, these are questions I like to ask you, but you've been part of many incredible projects, right? So how does it feel about bringing so many different characters into every projects?
For me, how it feels is it's just another opportunity to express myself. When I was younger, growing up as an obese kid, I didn't really feel like I had the opportunity to express myself and really be open with everybody. It's just how I felt, getting teased for your weight. You don't feel like you're able to talk to anybody. And I wasn't really a good student either. I wasn't a troublemaker, but I just wasn't book savvy. I was more street smart than book smart. And growing up, I just was never really, you know, academics didn't really ever come to me naturally. I had to work hard at it, later on in middle school and then high school and then college, of course. But um voiceover has really given me an opportunity to express, emotions that I wish that I could have expressed more of whenever I was younger, when someone was teasing me, be more open about it, be more, stand up for myself more, or, show off the sense of humor that I have, that sort of thing. It's a good gateway for me to show, you know, um, how, getting out of my shell, basically. It gives me a chance to get out of my shell. And it's just a privilege to be a part of many good projects that give me that opportunity.
That's very interesting to hear from you,
Mhm.
which leads me to the most important question. What really inspired you to pursue voice acting, and what is the best decision that you made so far that
Yeah,
has excelled into your career? For what purpose?
absolutely. So growing up, I really loved Metal Gear Solid. I liked Star Fox 64. I loved Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, all these type of games. I liked Ed, Ed and Eddie. And they were all a good source of escapism for me. And I always wondered, like, how can I get into stuff like that? That's so cool. But it's just something that back then we didn't even, the internet was so in its infant, I can't even speak right now. Infantry? No, that's not the word. But it was young. It was small. And the resources that we have now, it was really hard to get into voice acting and nobody ever really talked about it. So I kind of put that in the back of my head. I still liked acting in general, but that kind of fell through too because I was like, I'm a fat kid. No one cares about a fat kid. So, you know, yeah, but as I kept going, and I did, I did stage work and musical theater in high school. I did some plays and operas in college, just some background work. Um, I got into voice acting because I wanted to help a friend. That's how I got in. My friend wanted to do voice acting, and we were friends since high school. We did musicals together, and yeah, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was in college. I wanted to go into personal training and something in health. But I was like, you know what? I want to support my friend and see where this goes for him, and I'll do it with him. I need something good in my life right now. So I did that with him, and it just kind of, you know, snowballed after that, the snowball effect. One thing led to another. I started seeing myself taking more classes. I started studying more about acting. Um, and I guess the most important decision that I made was after a conversation that I had with my friend a few years ago. And he's like, you're going in different directions, but which one does your heart tell you to go to? And it was voice acting. So it has been difficult here and there, but anything that's worthwhile getting, a dream or, expressing yourself in the most exuberant way possible or, just having fun. I feel like having fun is a dream nowadays. That's just so, it can be confusing to grasp, but it's simple. And that can just be voice acting. Um, I think, that was the best decision I made was just, I'm going to go down this path and see what happens and take that risk while I'm young. And thank God I did because now we're talking here. So, no.
So, that's how you got into voice acting because of all that
Hmm.
experience that you've had since high school.
Yep.
Because,
Yep.
hey, everybody goes through that experience a lot when it comes to trying to understand for who we are on the inside. Because
Absolutely.
as someone on the spectrum, I'm willing to use that ability to help a lot of people in the world.
That's good. That's good, man. Use it as a weapon. Use it as a tool. As a tool. Weapon's a strong word. Tool. Sorry about that.
Of course, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
That's what everybody goes through. Because, hey,
Yeah.
that's what everybody goes through when it comes to speech, on the other hand. But
Hmm.
so that's all I say about it. Now, without further ado about the questions of the characters, but do you remember your first ever character that you voiced as, and what was the experience like?
Absolutely. So, the first role that I count, that was like my real first role, I'll always say this, is a character in a fan project for Danganronpa. It was called Danganronpa F Shattered Hope. And two of my friends, now my friends, Cross and Morai Teru, are the creators of that. And they cast me as a baseball player named Pocket, and Pocket is just me turned up to 11. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm like at a 2 or 3, just chill and everything, but an 11 is just energized, sense of humor is over the top. It's, my inflections are everywhere, I'm more expressive. And it really gave me it really taught me to put myself in roles, put my unique twist in roles, put myself in the roles, of course, and then, uh, you know, just not be afraid to make certain decisions with certain lines, give it certain inflection, all that kind of jazz. Um, that role taught me a lot and gave me the confidence that I needed to say, like, hey, I can actually do this and have fun with it. I can offer something to people. Because I feel like that's one thing that all actors, we all have certain, I guess, times when imposter syndrome hits, and it's just like, what can I offer anybody? I don't feel special. It's just that moment of just you're in the valley, and you have to climb back up to to the peak again. Peaks and valleys in acting, and that really did help me see that I could offer something to directors and to people. So that role was really nice. That role was my first official role, and I'm very grateful for it.
Interesting. So that was your first ever character. I'm just trying to make sure so that just in case, if I'm ever to do a voice showcase, then it needs to be in chronological order. Just like how I did for many others for like how do I say this? Like for 4 years since I've done it for Billy Kometz, through Brad Venable, through
Yeah.
everybody. It was all just to show the vocal range and on the age of how they sound like, and that way
Mhm.
they understand clearly on the concept of that.
I want to say too, as a little tangent, I love the collages you make for everybody for their birthdays, for their achievements and such. It really puts a good spotlight on a lot of the actors. And some of them, and I'll be totally real. I'm still, learning about different actors and such, and it helps me learn about different names, different actors that I haven't really, looked up. So I really do appreciate you doing that.
Well, it's what I do, just just bringing about information to everyone who
Hmm.
wants to get to know about them. Just like how I got to know about them since the day I've discovered acting and everything.
Yeah, that's
Also
good,
because
man.
of my childhood shows.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely.
And I'm honored you say that.
Mm.
Now, without further ado, I'd like to ask you this, but how does it feel about stepping into the role of Thrival and Golel in Dragon Here, Silent Gods? What do you like most about voicing these characters?
Those type of characters, I will say, and it's not just those two, those type of characters. Oh, excuse me.
It's okay.
Thought I was about to sneeze. Um, it really tests your vocal range, and because voicing different creatures, you don't know if the director wants, because some creatures in shows like they talk like how we're talking right now, very human-like. And just like for example, in like the show Stargate SG-1, it's one of my favorite shows. A lot of the creatures in that show, they talk very humanly, and you just never know what the specs are going to want, or what they accept. And for those roles, especially in Dragon Air, excuse me, um, it really like let me test certain voices that I don't really do. And that's the fun part of those type of roles is you can always test, if it's a ghoul or a goblin or some type of monster, you can just see like, maybe I should put some growl with it or put something go deep or go high, something like that. You can just play with it and see if it fits. And if not, hey, at least you embodied that character once and owned it. And maybe you can use that voice that you discovered that you could do. in the future. So,
I see. So
yeah.
that's what you like about being in that game. Because
Hmm.
all I know is that I'm beginning to I'm beginning to notice you being part of it is just a very genius thing.
Yeah.
Whoever brought you in did a good job doing so. Because you get to interact alongside with both Kira Buckland and Marissa Lente and everybody
Yeah.
else there. And that's what led to me believing that, boy, one of these days you, my friend, should actually be part of more projects as yet to come.
I appreciate that, brother. I get down on myself a lot. I mean, just from my upbringing, my mom was a big influence on me, and she, was one of the first people to teach me like how to believe in myself and all that. And um being an adult now, I'm almost forced to do it, but I see the value in that, and you know, believing in myself and being in projects with Kira, some like Jolene. I mean, she did Jolene Cujo, and just other actors that have made a path, for all of us to follow. That's, it's really inspiring.
Well, that's the whole point to all of this. Now, without further ado, you playing Fiber in Tales of Terrarium must have been so exciting, right? So,
Mhm.
what's your most favorite aspect about bringing that character into the game?
For me, it was, putting a little posh with it. Not English or anything like that, not a British sense, I mean, but just playing those type of characters. I'm usually playing like very like funny type, kind of like Deadpool a little bit, because those are the type of roles that I kind of gravitate towards the most. But being a little pompous and a little fancy a little bit, it's always fun to put that type of twist on characters, and with him in Tales, that was fun to do. Um, yeah, I really liked that role. It's just it's a side character, but it was fun to do that, and it was funny with him. He was a reference for me to use for this one Berserk project that I just did for an individual that goes by the name of Sweet Artist, Sweet Hardest, Sweet Artist, Sweet Hardest. I think I have to correct myself, but he's a good dude and he does work, some artwork and animations, and he cast me as a Griffith. And just Griffith is one of the worst villains ever. But I remember what I did in Tales, and that inflection and that timbre in the voice related it to Griffith. And that helped me out with that role. So it was really fun. So yeah.
That's very interesting to hear from you, because all I know is that you being part of that game was a very unique choice there. And what you mentioned something about you being Griffith in the Berserk and using that type of voice for that character. Here's the fun fact.
Yeah.
I met Griffith himself a few months ago,
The
Kevin
voice actor?
Collins. And
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
very nice guy, actually. And here's the fun part. He actually recommended me to interview Michael Nicholas, and let's just want,
Really?
yeah, because he
Nice.
and just taking that request from him would be a challenge, just by doing it the right way. But hey, it's the least of everything. But you being part of that project was just very nice right
Mm,
there. So
yeah.
yeah, that's all to say about it.
Thank you. That's exciting that you got to talk to him. He's a great voice actor. He did Griffith very well. The OG. He's the
Yep.
OG.
And the best part is, I did a voice showcase for him, and he thanked me for it.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
because I made a promise to him that once I am done with Gundam Seed Destiny, which is now on Netflix thanks to
Hmm.
me, I am able to finally complete the showcase for him and Brad Venable just in case, so that way it could be sorted.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Now without further ado, in Aguilas Aya, what stood out about you voicing the character Mr. Kid?
Mr. Kid. Well, that was funny because he was just no, he's not just, but he's like for me, I kept thinking of what's their names? Because he has another character that's beside him. Um, I think their names are Bud and Skull from Power Rangers. And they're just the two like villain characters that the character the main character deals with. That's what I thought of. I haven't played that game in a while. It's been about oh my goodness, it's already been 2 years. I remember doing some of the lines for that while I was in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines doing voice work. Like I brought my setup with me while we were visiting a friend over there, and I did some lines for that project while I was over there, and it was just really funny. That's my core memory of that project related to the Philippines because I was working on it in the Philippines in my hotel room. But yeah, that was a cool project. I hope to work for that director and their team again soon. They also released a while ago. They released another project that I helped out with called Once More, and then my character Boss was pretty cool too. He's a cute little dude. He looks like a gingerbread man, with a cool little hat. But they do a lot of good work.
Interesting. So that's what you like about being that character.
Hmm.
Because, hey, you being part of it was a very awesome thing from what I am seeing so far.
Hmm.
And you just recording it from Philippines, I never even noticed that until you told me just now.
Yeah, it was a fun little experience. Just because recording in a space that's not yours and a
'Cause-
space that you usually don't record in, it's always a wild experience. So,
Yeah, because I did notice that if I'm not mistaken, I believe you worked with that you alongside this other guy named Ryan Nuragren, who recently did the younger version of the villain All for One
hmm.
in My Hero Academia. You two being together in it was just very awesome. And
Heck
I
yeah, and
told to
he's
myself,
yep.
you know what? I think these two should work together more often. That way they can be able to get themselves into more projects that are yet to come.
That would be fun. I know that yeah, Ryan's killing it over in Texas, which is good. I don't know him personally. I'm just saying I don't, I haven't really talked to him at all, but I know he's a good dude and that he's killing it over at Crunchyroll. So,
Huh. I'm just
no.
trying to make sure of that.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. 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 Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you, man.
of course. Well, Desolite, well, you're the project that you were in, Desolite as the voice of Fushi must have been
Yeah.
so cool, right? So,
Yeah.
what made that role so awesome to you?
So I saw Dislight. A lot of my colleagues got into that. A lot of good voice actors are in that game, and they've been going strong, over the years now. It was really special. I always wanted to be a playable character in a gacha game, and just getting that was really cool. A playable one that people really like too was really nice, and I just love uh, his sword, his lion form that he has, the colors too, the green and everything, and his story's pretty cool too. I mean, it's a love story, and he can't, he sees the love of his life just going down the wrong path and he knows that that's not her. So, he does what he can to get her back. It's really, I'm a sucker for those type of stories. So, it was really cool. And, yeah, being Fushi was just really special to me. Um, Before that too, before I got Fushi, I was Li Zhao in another patch. And he had a cool get up with a white suit, white black hair. And they had this cool animation that I can send you. I think you'd like it. I always like the animation in Dislight too. I always thought that they could make like a Netflix or Amazon Prime like short series. Episodes would be like 8 minutes long. And I always thought that Dislike could have something like that. But yeah, being Fushi and Li Zhao in that game was really cool. And again, really gave me more confidence in myself. So it was nice.
Interesting. So that's what you like about being in that game.
Hmm.
Because you being part of it was just a very unique choice.
Hmm.
Whoever brought you in, I give props to that director for that. Especially
Hey,
when you got to interact with Luis Barmadiz and yet again Kira Buckland, Ember League Honors, and
yep,
of course Courtney Lynn, who
yep.
I got to interview with.
That's cool, man. That's cool. How was that?
It was very awesome, actually. Got to
Nice.
know her very well, alongside her best friend Jennifer Son Bell,
Nice.
who I also got to interview with due to my YouTube channel, Sebastian Voiceover World, which is right there.
Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom.
Exactly. So yeah, that
Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
th so loving your tone there, and thanks for that.
Of course.
Well, well, time to get back to the topic right there, but being part of being part of the game Tale of Food as the voice of charcoal baked sea snail must have been so awesome to be, right? So
Yes.
what's the most thrilling thing about voicing that character?
It really relates to kind of like the feeling I had with Dislight. I saw Tale of Food just popping off a little bit and saw a lot of my colleagues in it too. And I love the designs. I love the look of it. And I always wanted a chance to audition for it. And when I got the chance to and nailed it, it was just really cool. And I loved that character, the charcoal, that character. I believe his name is Lu, Luo. And he kind of reminds me of a little bit of Li Jiao of how he talks, just very not pompous, actually a little pompous, but just fancy type, and but still very serious and determined, but still he can be soft at some points. But yeah, it was really cool to get into that project. Unfortunately, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe that project is discontinued now. It's like a legacy project now. You could still put it on your resume as a voice actor and such, but I don't think people can play it, which is really sad. Until someone buys the rights to it, I think that game is just discontinued. I could be wrong. I could be definitely wrong, but I thought that's what I saw. But, hopefully someone picks it up and they could either, repatch it and such. But it was really fun to be in. I was really, being included at times is the best feeling. So, yeah.
That's very interesting to hear from you, because
Mhm.
all I know is that you being part of just that project was very awesome right there. Plus, you alongside Sean Chiplock, Griffin Batu, who I got to meet with in person, and Kaylee Mills did a very good. You both did a very good job being part of the entire game there, especially
Oh,
when you
thank
get
you.
to interact with each other there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, a good goal of mine. I mean, and this is a goal that a lot of voice actors have right now is to get into a game like, Genshin and Honkai and those type of gotcha games too. And voice act alongside those actors, who have been killing it. It's just it's a privilege and you do have to not, I guess earn your rights, but show your arms and just, keep grinding and keep being determined and keep being true to yourself and not be a jerk to people. And just love acting. And, I think people when they gravitate towards that, that's when, you find yourself in those situations where you can be in those type of projects or at least audition for those type of projects. So that's what I strive for is I guess on an audition standpoint is to just be able to, earn or audition for the right to, be in something as big as like Genshin or Honkai and, be alongside those actors because it's really cool.
I see. That's interesting to hear. I got two more questions I'd like to ask due to the time limit right there, so I'll
Absolutely.
ask this right away. But Tsunoda and Yoshiharu Tsubameya in My Dear Friend Nokotan must have a unique presence, right? So
Mhm.
what's the most coolest part about bringing those characters to life?
So when we found that we were voicing characters or that we were doing My Dear Friend Nokotan, it was a shock. because apparently the studio that was doing it, they didn't go to Crunchyroll. They went to another studio, and that studio wanted remote talent. And we were the talent that they chose, which is pretty, it's an honor, and it can be kind of scary because you don't want to put a bad light on remote talent altogether. You want to do a good job with your acting. So, when I found out that I was going to be Tsunoda and Yoshiharu, I knew that I had to put again, like I learned with Pocket, my unique take on it and, make it special in my own way. Of course, with Tsunoda, I just say one word really, Nook, but people love it. But with Yoshiharu, the director, our fabulous director, Lynn, she challenged me and said, just, put your own take on it, just put your own sizzle on it, basically. And I thought, man, this guy seems pretty funny, actually. I'll just act like how I am with my friends, you know? So that's what made it special is like I was able to put my own twist on it. And I'm just glad that, everybody liked it. Everybody loved the show. And at cons, we've had people come up and say they loved it, and people out in the wild, out in society, outside of cons, they know about it and they love the performances that we gave. So it was fun.
That's very interesting to hear from you. Because all I know is that I got to know all about it because of you and everybody else there. But
Hmm.
honestly, it's like you said to me earlier that you were waiting for a second season to come due to the
Yeah.
manga and everything, and it'll take a lot of time to let's see what will happen eventually, and that way it could be
Yeah.
sorted out in no time. So
Yep.
yeah, I like that's something I like to say. Now, without further ado, this last question is, as Hibaki Mononaka in 8 Sen or Mogen
Oh.
Sen by all means, must have been very nice, right?
Hmm.
What's so awesome, or what is your favorite thing about bringing that character into the project?
I I love that project. Lunik, the director for that project, I was able to meet them in Japan, and they are wonderful. A sweetheart, and I love the work that they do, the art that they make. And they're working on it currently right now more. I mean, with life and being an indie developer, indie develop work altogether can take a long time, bouncing life, bills, all that kind of stuff. But the progress that they've been able to make on that has been really cool. And to be characters in that project is really neat because I just love the look of it. I love just the feel. It's based off of, I believe it's based off of Yu-Gi-Oh, the style and everything. So it's just really cool. I love just Lunik's work in that, and honestly, that's the main reason. Just respecting their work and helping it any way I can, enhancing it any way I can. Yeah.
That's very interesting to hear from you, because hey, I got to know about it because of you and of course someone that I've got to interview with days ago by the name of Kiba Walker,
Hmm.
who on the other hand, he's a very awesome person to meet with.
Oh yeah.
And you just being part of it was a very unique way to just making sure it just turns out in a complete awesome way to say it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Well, Josh, it's such an honor to finally meeting you right here.
Fantastic to meet you, Sebastian. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and thanking you for always supporting everything that I've done.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I hope that you going down your path, you keep learning, keep being a student, accepting different praises, different critiques, and becoming the best actor you can be, man. It's a long road, but it's a very good road. And I encourage anybody to go down it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
There's one
man,
more
just keep
thing.
going.
There's one more thing before I go. But
Yeah.
when people look back on your work, how do you want to be remembered as a voice actor?
Is that he gave it his heart. He gave it as much as he could, and it meant something to him. I right now personally, everything I do currently, while I love this field, I just want to make my mom proud right now. Um, Not to make it so deep, I know we're running out of time, but uh, she's not here with us anymore,
Oh,
but just doing everything I can to, make her proud and, grow our name and do it in her memory. I think that's what matters most. And I gotta say, with with certain things that I've been learning, with certain, jobs I've been auditioning for, and, the effort that I've been putting in, I think I'm on the right track. But it's just continuing that and giving all the praise to her and being thankful and all that kind of stuff. So I love this field. I'm not, that's just not the only reason, but if I can be totally real, that's one other thing is that, he did it with a lot of heart and you know uh that I hope that she'd be proud of it, you know.
that's very interesting to hear from you. And and about your mother, I'm very sorry about that.
It's all good, man. It's all good. She's in a
And
better
I hope
place.
a good place where she will watch to see how you will accomplish eventually. But pretty soon, when I get into a to an actual project, I will have my chance to interview, well, the chance to working with you. But on the other hand, I can even help you get into more projects that are yet to come when that time comes.
I appreciate it, man. We can help each other.
Of
It'll be good.
course,
It'll be good.
indeed. Well, my friend, it's such an honor to meeting you, and we'll be seeing each other in person by Saturday, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bold Matsuri, June 14th through the 15th. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be doing panels and workshops there, just hanging out and yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll be seeing each other very by Saturday, where
Mhm.
I'll meet with everyone, including the ones I wanted to meet with. So yeah,
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
indeed. Well, Josh, such an honor to meeting you, and I hope you do something awesome.
You too. Thank you very much for having me again.
Of course. Want to keep up with my journey? Follow me on social media for more updates, behind the scenes moments, and all the fun along the way.